Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown and our live post-game show of the clinching game, Game 6, between the Cavaliers and the Raptors. Kind of a ho-hum game. Before we get started, though, I want to make sure you guys have all seen that I, in the last second, decided to put together a team to compete in the basketball tournament, which we did last year. It was for $1 million last year, and this year it's actually for $2 million. And I actually got sort of inspired because I saw on Twitter the Ringer, Bill Simmons' new venture, is looking to sponsor a team. I thought, okay, well, maybe we can make that happen too, because obviously we're going to fly some players into LA. We need a sponsor. So if you want to go and please vote for us, I guess it's called Team B-Ball Breakdown. If you go to the tournament, thetournament.com, I'm not prepared now. I have a link that I can share with you guys in a second, which will show you where to go to vote. So if you can, we need a bunch of votes to finish in the top 16 so I can at least figure out if we're going to make it and put together the team for July. We film all the practices. We edit the stuff down and show you guys, like, you can see me in action coaching pros. We have a really sweet team all of a sudden that came together. So definitely give us a vote if you can. We only need a few more, but I want to be number one. I want to get 1,200 votes. So we're at like 300, 400 now in literally a few hours. So head over there. It's called. Let me just tell you right now. I am woefully unprepared. Oh yeah, it's thetournament.com. Team B-Ball Breakdown, and I have a bit.ly link I could share with you if I go to. Let's see here. Let me go to I'll put in the comments right now. Will that work for you guys? Let me quickly head over to the YouTube page. Fire this up here. Make sure to turn the volume off so we don't have echo. And I will put it in the comments. All right, live. Oh, there it goes. Live TV. So comments. I have to paste that bit.ly link again, which is. This is okay, right? All the Raptor fans still need a little time to kind of digest before we start talking about the game, right? All right, you see that? There it is in the comment section. We got it there. You know what? Maybe I'll even go through the comment section on the YouTube side today to see if there's any good questions. Usually it's a little bit of a free-fall, rollicking place, but you never know. If you have any questions there, let me know. Which also leads me to believe that there's some questions over on Twitter. It looks like there are now suddenly. It took a little while, but let's go there and go start with some questions first and see what people are saying. So let's do the old screen share and fire up the Twitter. Let's see here. There it is. Okay, so our first question is from Jeff Rutch. I had the Warriors in 7. What do the Dubs need to do in Game 6 to make that happen? Oh, wow. And by the way, I can't watch Game 6 live. I will not have a binding. I can't do it. I have to be at a family event, and it's one of those #Don'tGetDivorced moments. So I don't have much choice, but I have to go. So I'm going to miss the game, I think, unless I can figure out a way. Maybe the party I'm going to is not till later, but we'll figure it out. Either way, what do the Warriors have to do? Well, we've been looking at this a lot. I already released the first quarter from yesterday's game up. And one thing they did that was right was they kept Curry off of Russ a little bit more than normal just to give him more rest. And I think that's important. They need to continue to get Draymond Green playing with emotion and passion and fire as really important stuff as well. And then defensively, they're going to have to start out the game well. You cannot let the Thunder get a 10-point lead in the first quarter and their crowd get rabid. You cannot do it. The Thunder play so well. They play much better when they're in front. You get them into a game and it's a little tight and you got something there. But when you give them a 12-point lead, they make that into a 20-point lead really easily because those shots are just easier when you're not that kind of pressure. But you get them into a 4 or 5-point game and let it get tense, then all of a sudden you have something. So that's probably the biggest issue is they need to start out really well. And if they can continue to get Bogut to contribute meaningfully, for some reason he can't seem to do it on the road. It's a very strange thing. And if they can get him to contribute, that's going to be a big bump. Coach D asks, summarize how OKC runs their offense in 30 seconds or less. Curious if more than pick and roll for Russ is said. Yeah, they do some interesting stuff. I mean, they run that pin down with Adams and Durant on the right side. I would say, a quarter of the time, maybe not that high, but it's a lot. I've seen them run loop for Kevin Durant, 3 screens around the baseline, which is a nice little play that they took from the Spurs. So they're running some stuff. Donovan's got some stuff in there. Before they get to the pick and roll on top, it might be a little bit of action, which is kind of exciting because it used to not be that way. But the other times, I remember they want to get Bogut in the high pick and roll. Why mess around? Just bring Adams up and screen and let him attack with Durant. So it's a mixture of both, but they do get stagnant. They do get sort of stuck in their same stuff a lot. And that's also a problem against a really good defensive team like the Warriors. We've got two more questions. Let's see here. Derek Theriault asks, with the possibility of losing DeRozan and Biyombo, do you think it's in the cards to make a conference finals run next year? Well, let's talk about the Raptors now anyway, because it's an interesting conversation. Either with the Raptors, the basic problem I think they have right now is it's sort of they have a talent deficit. They don't have enough talent to compete with Cleveland, or maybe even with they obviously competed with Miami and they beat them. So, but I think everyone is sort of below Cleveland. And so what I was watching in this whole series, and especially in tonight, the plays that the Raptors have to make are just hard. They have to struggle just to get the ball to the basket. And meanwhile, you watch the Cavaliers come down in the ball, but they're doing all the fancy stuff and hitting lefty floaters and stuff like that. It's just easier for them because they have more talent. And as a coach, I always want to believe that the hard work aspect can overcome talent, right? But when we get to a 7-game series in the NBA, generally, it's a rare instance where hard work will overcome talent. And that's sort of what we saw here. It just didn't happen. So they need to improve. Now, DeMarre Carroll is sort of the epitome of that because he's terrific and he works really hard. He probably isn't 100%, having missed all that time. And then also he didn't have a chance to marinate with the rest of the team for a whole year and get used to them. And that will help if he's healthy to start the year. I've sort of been documented pretty clearly about how I feel about DeMar DeRozan. I think he has a very limited ceiling. I think whatever we've seen now is his ceiling. That's as good as he is. And clearly they need better to get beyond where they are now. Lowry's the same way. He clearly has a ceiling, and this is it. I mean, Lowry is 31 or something like that. So this is it for him. And it's good. And he made the All-Star team, but I just don't know. I feel like even his shots are too hard. They're too difficult. But DeRozan makes him a little bit too difficult in my mind. He tries these Euro steps. He tries these, fancy stuff, and it's just not quite who he is. I feel like maybe he was learning how to play the game, and they're like, okay, Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant, these are the moves they all do, so you have to learn them. And I just don't think he can pull it off as well as those guys. And so what we have here is an up and down against a really good team. They're going to struggle. So that's where we are with the Raptors. And Biyombo, again, another guy who's very limited offensively, very limited. He's improved, but this is his ceiling. I think it's as good as he's going to get, which is great. But on a good team, it feels like Biyombo is that guy that comes off the bench for energy 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Not a guy who's starting. And I know he started because Valanciunas was injured. And Valanciunas actually looked okay, except for the defensive part when he has to guard Fry when they go that small. And that's it's a problem for him. So there's a lot of issues and a lot of stuff that I think Masai Ujiri is going to have to sort of look into and figure out what he wants to do, because this is the ceiling. This is it. And if they lose DeRozan and they lose Biyombo, which sounds like it's possible, then they probably have to consider just doing a teardown and trying to reboot, because I don't know what you do with it's a Lowry, Terrence Ross backcourt or something like that, and Carroll and Valanciunas and Patterson. I mean, there's something there, but it's limited. They've got these pieces of guys who could play on a championship team but wouldn't be starters per se, and they have to instead what they have to do is start and play heavy minutes, and that's the issue, I think. So it's an interesting conundrum, but Masai Ujiri is a very smart guy and shrewd. He knows how to make it happen, so I won't put anything past him. We got some more questions. Romo 350 asks, who do you think wins Game 6 tomorrow night? Man, is this a tough question. I really don't have a feel for it. I mean, it's been blowouts. It was a close game at the end, and they gritted it out. I would like to have a 7-game series, but it doesn't look good, honestly, for the Warriors going into Chesapeake Arena. It just doesn't. You can't bet against them. They're just too good at home, and we haven't quite seen the Warriors at their best. So unless they can ratchet it up, it's going to be a a LeBron Kevin Durant matchup. It'd be interesting. Dixon Powell asks, Bogut still be the key tomorrow? Yeah, I think he's a little bit of the key. Yeah, I think they need to get some production out of him like they did in game 5 for sure. Ben Gross asks, what do the Raptors need to do to be more competitive in these finals? Okay, I think, well, the finals are now over, like their conference finals, so they need an upgrade. They need to upgrade across the board with talent, and that's going to be Ujiri, getting on the phones. Romo asks, why is the NBA trying to make Golden State win? Money, media attention. Don't try and deny it. Laugh out loud. Okay, I don't think that I don't think the NBA. Obviously, the NBA isn't trying to force Golden State to win, or else they wouldn't be in the situation they're in now. So I think it's a pretty good proof. Justin Omar Johnson asks, it's going to be tough to beat this Cavs team 4 times. At 3 wins, the nation gets behind them. How many 3 per game do they need to win? Well, I guess we're talking about, like, let's say the Thunder. I don't know. I feel like the Thunder or the Warriors could beat the Cavs. I don't feel it from the Cavs yet. I feel like they're going to have more of a problem than the other way around. So, I wouldn't just sort of, put all your money or all your eggs in the Cavaliers basket just yet. Okay. Thanks, Sam. Stephen A. Smith asks, who would guard Russ if the Cavs and OKC meet in the finals? Well, they're going to probably have to put Kyrie on him and help. But if they try and do Kyrie on Robertson, I wish I could picture the regular season. But let's see here. They could put Robertson on him. Oh, that works. So they put I'm sorry. Let's see. They're going to put on the Cavs. They're going to put J.R. Smith on. No. That's an interesting conundrum. I guess they could try and do J.R. Smith on on Russ, and then Kyrie on Robertson. But yeah, that probably works better. But they're going to have Kyrie on him, and they're going to have to try and see how that goes. And then Coach D asks, was Golden State's zone-ish defense too much for OKC? Is this a series changer? I don't know. I feel like they went back to sort of less of the gimmicky stuff and sort of more of a traditional stuff. That said, I still haven't finished going through the whole game. I've only went through really close to the first quarter, so I got to finish that like tonight or something crazy. So we'll see. So let's see here. So those are my thoughts on the Raptors and what happened in that game. And so again, I think it's pretty clear. And then certainly with the Cavaliers, they have a lot of talent, and they have. I don't know if they have the defense to really go up against the Thunder and or the Warriors. I mean, LeBron will have to bring his A game against Durant, and we've seen that, and it's very riveting and exciting. But how are they going to guard, Russell Westbrook? That's a problem, for Cavaliers, and also for the Warriors as well coming in. I mean, Dellavedova could come in, but he's not going to start, so they're going to have these moments for 15, 20 minutes of the game where Kyrie's out there. He's going to have to do something. So that's an issue. Can J.R. Smith has shown moments of being a good defender, and so can he guard, Clay? Yeah, he could kind of do that, I think. And then, how do the Cavaliers match up with Draymond Green? Are they going to put LeBron on him? I mean, that would be interesting. Or do they put Tristan Thompson on him? But then they have who's going to guard Bogut. It's an interesting matchup. So, we'll have to go through that, maybe do a preview if we have enough time and enough days ahead of time. So let's go to some of the stats, shall we? I kind of want to take a quick peek at the box score. I don't know. Is it ready yet? Oh, it's not ready yet for us to do our piecemeal box score. I guess they take some a little while over at nba.com/stats. Let me try it one more time. Okay. Oh, here we go. It's ready. So let's go share the screen, make it a little bit wider, and we'll talk about quarter by quarter as we see what happened in this Toronto Raptors game. So don't forget, guys, when you go to stats.nba.com, you can go through the box score by quarter with this little gear here, which is kind of cool. So let's go to the first period and see what we have here, how this broke out. So the first period, first of all, Cleveland took a 6-point lead. And, they were doing what they wanted to do. They were sort of imposing their will. So it's probably too small. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And then we can maybe read it. Let's see here. How good are your guys' eyes? Come on now. Okay, so here we go. So who led the team in scoring? So LeBron started out really aggressive, 5 for 6. They had no answer, and they were giving him the 3-point shot. He was just taking it. And it was over from there. 14 points in the first, and then filled in with Kevin Love, had 7 on a 1-3. Didn't shoot well. and then but got 4 rebounds. So there was their 31 points, and they got seven rebounds. There certainly weren't too many offensive rebounds to get. They shot 50% and over that for 3. Meanwhile, on the Raptors side, we had this is a pretty nice balance here. Everyone was contributing. So 6 points from DeMar DeRozan on not so efficient 3 for 7 shooting, and then you had Kyle Lowry pitched in, was doing well. So they got that going. Then a smattering of other people, but again, like Lowry was a negative 11 in less than 9 minutes. That's pretty tough to do. It is indicative of what was going to happen in the second quarter. So in the second quarter, if we look at that, you'll see that it was a bigger 24 points, which is good for defense, but Toronto could only muster 16, and they increased their lead. So it was pretty troubling here, as you see. Another 7 points from LeBron James, but didn't shoot well. They were really, hounding him a little bit and making it difficult, but he was still, able to get 7. And then you got 5 from Kyrie Irving. Again, they didn't shoot well this quarter, 45%, but they, were able to lock down the Raptors. And let's see here, Lowry played the entire second quarter, led them with 7 points, but they shot 25%, woeful, 1 for 8 from 3, just couldn't get it going. They weren't turning the ball over, only 2, but it was just they couldn't make shots. And that pretty much gave them the separation. So by the time we got around to the second half, you can see here, Toronto actually outscored them by 2 in the third. And there was an inkling of life here, but it was already too little too late. And there was just not much they were going to be able to do. So like we said before, it's a real problem when you're talking about a deficit of talent. And that's what we're going to have, going forward, unless they can drastically do something. Now, the other problem Toronto has is they're not really a destination for free agents, so that's probably not going to lure anybody to play there. And it's a tough market. It's just a tough thing to be able to do. You got to try and draft them and groom them. And they did get Damari Carroll to commit, but he's not one of those named free agents. So we'll see. Maybe this run will spark some interest and people want to go there. We got some more questions, it looks like. So let's move this over here. And don't forget, if you want to ask a question, you can use hashtag BBallShow, and I will check them over there. I'm kind of curious. Do I want to check over on the YouTube side and in the comments? Let's see here. Let's pop out this chat, and let's see what happens if I minimize it. Really quickly. I'll share this. We'll see. Can I make this bigger? Yes, I can. Let's see here. Let's have some fun with our YouTube commenters these days. I used to do this all the time and haven't done it in a long time. Let's see here if I could share that screen, and hopefully it's clean. Yeah, I already see some issues. Let's see here. All righty. Well, here's a question. Do you believe that the Warriors should hide Curry on Robertson as he hasn't been good defensively against Russ? Oh, my goodness gracious. I guess you haven't been on Twitter the last 3 days, but I've been going over and over ad nauseum the fact that Curry has been good on Russ, and he's held him to a very low percentage. Russ has not been blowing by him every time. And I did a nice edit on Twitter, which literally just the possessions where Russ took a shot, had an assist, turned it over, or drew a foul. And I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot of good defense by Steph Curry. So we got to stop this nonsense. And one of the things is that Curry does get worn out, and I'm sure it affects his offense. So that's why they want to keep him off. But it has nothing to do with the fact that he's getting lit up the whole way through. It's a total meme. Okay, we got some interesting things here, which is another reason. Okay, so if you guys ever want to keep this clean, then or want to be on this chat, then and be focused for me to spotlight this, then you better keep this cleaner than this. I'm sorry, YouTubers. Coach, with the Cavs victory, what do you think they can build from this and take to the finals? Well, that's a good question. As I turn this off, this is terrible. Sorry, guys. What can they build? I mean, listen, they are finding stuff that they can run. That horn set certainly seems to be working for them. I wonder if it'll work that effectively against a better defense. But, they found a freedom of movement. There were a lot of moments where they seemed to be actually having fun and passing the ball to each other. They still have a lot of defensive issues without question, and against a much more talented team, it's going to be a real problem. So that's what I take away, and I don't think that's going to change much in the next few days while they're preparing for their opponent. So we shall see. Maybe they can hope a 7-game series and their opponent's going to get worn out a little bit. That could help them, but I don't know. I really don't feel it so much when I think about it that way. Well, let's wrap this up, I guess. We can have a nice quick post-game show. I know it's a Friday night, and probably some of you guys want to get out on the West Coast. It's real early. So let's hit up some more questions here on Twitter. We've got 3 more, it looks like. So Naal Baisa asks, do you think any other sets that worked as well as the Horns rub for the Cavs? Nothing stands out in my mind right now as far as other sets, because they just did well. They scored well. They moved the ball well. They were able to get penetration on a lot of things. So nothing's really standing out to me like other sets, but we'll break it down if I can find it. And then Moses asks, this feels like the 14 East. Heat looks so good and they face real competition. Cavs East slipped near the end of the year. Yeah, that's actually a good comparison here. And then the Heat fell apart against the Spurs. So for sure, there's something there, maybe. So we'll find out. And I'm kind of curious to see how LeBron might respond to being faced with losing another finals and see if he can't elevate or what he does. So it should be really interesting. So anyhow, terrific post-game show. Let's make it short and sweet. I want to get to some more editing so I can get you the parts 2, 3, and 4, or whatever I'll do for the next for Game 5 of last night. And don't forget, please go vote. I put it in I've been tweeting it out. If you go to thetournament.com and look for team B-Ball Breakdown in the West, you'll be able to vote for us. Give us a vote. We need a whole bunch more to clear at least that hurdle, and then we'll find out how the rest of the team shapes up. We get everybody eligible by Wednesday. So remember, the votes need to be in by Wednesday. So do us a solid. Head over there to thetournament.com. Give Team B-Ball Breakdown a vote. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in?